Welcome to the WanderLearn podcast. I'm your host, Tapon. This is an Ask Me Anything episode, AMA. And this time it's Sym, though, who's going to be asking all the questions. Normally I get these questions from all the people I'm connected with, but in this case, Sym is going to exclusively ask me these questions that he has on his mind. We start off with talking about how I travel. And I start bragging about the lowest rent I've ever paid in my life. Take a guess right now. Think about it. What's the lowest monthly rent you could imagine me paying? And then you'll listen to the beginning of this episode. You'll find out what the reality is. I talk about my family and what's the update with them. We also talk about racism in the United States, where it's always a controversial topic, and I'm not too shy about sharing some of my feelings about it, even though it may not be popular. Tune in for the next episode where I talk more about my Africa book update, some of my motivations, and some of the best places I've ever visited. Sym is a curious man. I don't know why the fuck he's curious about me, but anyway, go ahead, Sym. You're going to bombard me with questions, and let's...
Yeah, Francis, so tell us, what have you been doing the last several months?
Robbing banks.
Yes.
Terrorizing the population.
And my next question.
Exactly. Yes. And no, let's see. So in September 2021, I came into Dakar and Gambia. And so I basically did the reverse of my trip. So I originally entered Africa from Morocco.
I'm sorry. And why were you retracing your steps? What?
I had nothing better to do, dude. I've got I'm a loser. I have nothing to do with my life.
Housing's cheap.
Exactly. Speaking about cheap, so after Senegal, so I house sat in Senegal, a cat, for 2 months. I stayed in Gambia for about 3 weeks, and then I was in Mauritania for 2 months. From February and March, I was there I left because Ramadan was starting, and Ramadan is fasting.
Yeah.
That's kind of a pain in the ass. In Mauritania, you'll never guess how much I spent on housing.
How much?
You don't know?
No.
Guess.
0? No.
I paid housing, Sym.
Oh, okay. $500 a month?
Lower.
$300 a month?
Lower.
$200 a month?
Lower.
$100 a month?
Lower.
$50 a month?
$75.
Oh my gosh. That's what I paid in college.
Per month?
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah.
And what century was that? 1899?
1970.
Okay. Anyway, yeah. So, yeah, $75 a month. And it wasn't bad. I had air conditioning, for God's sakes.
Amazing.
It's a room. And then I had a bath, I had a kitchen in a separate area. It was kind of like a hostel that they had an auberge. And they had several rooms, but it was closed. I mean, nobody was there. There had no tourists in Chingati and in Mauritania.
Uh-huh.
And so I just gave them $75, and that was good enough.
Wow.
And they had cold water only, and so I would heat up the bucket and put the bucket in the sun. In Mauritania, the sun is pretty warm, so we would warm it up by the afternoon. I'd take a outdoor shower, and that was it. And comfortable, and talked to a lot of Mauritanians, learned a little bit of Arabic, and had a great time, worked on my book.
You had enough electricity?
Yeah, the electricity was
consistent. Did you have Wi-Fi?
I had through my phone Wi-Fi, so I could hotspot it.
Oh,
so
nice.
And it's good.
And it was good.
It was like, I can't remember if it was 4G or 3G, but anyway, it's fast enough for my needs.
Now, it wasn't like $1.47 a night that we spent when we were hiking across Madagascar.
That's true. Yeah. So that was
the Wi-Fi wasn't probably as good a Wi-Fi as we had in Madagascar.
And my better deal was in Benin.
Oh, really?
Benin, I had a 2-room unit. Guess how much I spent per month? This was in 2014, by the way.
$50 a month.
Less.
25.
Less.
10.
$10.
Oh my gosh, a month.
$10
Benin.
a month. It was 5,000 sefa, which was about $10.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah. And it was a 2-room unit. I had a mosquito net and a bed, and I also had a table to work on. And there was a 3rd room that I could use to piss in or to take a shower in. And to take a shit, you had to go to the outhouse.
Okay.
And to get water, you had to go to the well, which was just a few meters away, and it was easy to get the water.
Hey, $10 a month. You know.
I know. Who can complain about anything?
Yeah.
So there are deals to be had out there. Now, probably they're charging $20 a month now.
Yeah.
That's probably what they're charging. But anyway. And by the way, this is not in shithole USA, or whatever, Benin. It was a town of 25,000 people.
Wow.
It's not like I was in the Alps. People are probably imagining that I was out in the middle of nowhere. Anyway, from there, I went to Morocco to celebrate Ramadan.
Yeah.
And Moroccans are a little bit more laid back about Ramadan, but of course they're strict. It's not like they close all the restaurants down. But you just buy food, and I stayed there for a couple months. Then I came here where we're currently doing this interview in Marbella, and took the same ferry to cross the Strait of Gibraltar to retrace my steps. And I liked it so much that I'm going to be going back.
Okay.
Yeah,
good.
So another 3 months in Morocco.
We just gave a fabulous presentation with under adverse circumstances, but it was amazing.
Yeah, I gave a presentation.
I really enjoyed it.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, it was a TBEX. Yeah, TBEX is a travelers conference. And we're both here.
And thank you for inviting me. And
sure,
appreciate that.
Yeah.
And so, what are your plans now? Where are you going?
Going for 3 months in Morocco.
Okay.
I'll be there until September. And then Rejoice currently is on deployment in the Pacific and East Asia.
Guam, I think she is in.
She stopped in Hawaii. Then she went to Guam, spent about a week in Guam nearly. And then now she's on her way as I'm recording this in Vietnam. She's going to Vietnam. She'll be there for a week. And then she's going to go to Palau. All these places I've never been to. The Solomon Islands.
Yeah.
She'll be going to... Philippines. I've never been to Philippines either.
Yeah.
I've never been to Vietnam. I've never been to Guam. I mean, she's racking up all sorts of territories and countries I've never been to.
Yeah, 2028, right? When you plan to go?
What?
I thought that was part of your plan to go to East Asia.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, the 2028, inshallah. And so, yeah, that's right. And so she's going to, and then eventually she'll hit Hawaii. And then by the end of September, I think she should be motoring her way back to San Diego.
And you don't know yet if she's if they're helping the local population with their health care.
They definitely are. Yeah, she's on a hospital ship. It's the biggest hospital ship in the world.
Wow.
It's called the USNS Mercy ship. It's has a huge Red Cross on it. It's like it's like a tank. I mean, it's like a container ship practically. It's huge, and they have 1,000 beds. Sorry.
Wow.
Capacity.
Oh my god!
They have like 10 operating rooms or 9 operating rooms.
Yeah.
It's a beast.
Oh
it's
my
a beast. She took about 2 weeks to finally get her sea legs. She was nauseous. Even though it's so big, you would think that it would be stable, but I guess there was enough rocking sometimes.
Yeah. That's a whole new experience for her, huh?
And she's making cookies.
Oh, is that right? Oh my gosh!
Normally they would assign her to do some medical stuff, but the Navy does whatever the Navy wants them to do. So they said, "Hey, make some cookies," and she's like, "Okay, yes, sir."
Wow.
So, but she's enjoying it. It's a pleasure and honor to go to these remote places and all sorts of stuff and be paid for it.
Yeah.
Pretty good deal.
And be an American citizen now.
That's awesome. She just got her U.S. passport.
Wow. So how's your mom doing?
She's doing all right. She's now 83 years old. She'll
83.
Be, and she's got a problem with her sciatic nerve in her back. Oh no! But she got 2 injections, and the second one seems to have taken. Fairly well. She's under painkillers a lot.
Oh boy!
So that sucks. But overall, her mind is relatively lucid and she's relatively sharp and all that stuff. She's going to tell you that she's super sharp, but I think she's losing a little bit of it. But then again, so am I. Yeah. I can't remember your fucking name.
Me too.
Who are you?
I forgot.
Okay.
I don't know. And how about your brother? He's a
psychiatrist.
In Chicago.
In Chicago, yeah. So, I don't talk to my brother enough as much as I would like, unfortunately. But as far as I know, he's working his ass off being a psychiatrist. He just bought a apartment, which he's only somewhat happy about. And he bought it during COVID, and he kind of did it as a rush deal.
Wow. Right downtown Chicago?
No, in the south side of Chicago. It's kind of a sketchy neighborhood. But anyway, that's what he decided to do.
I love Chicago.
Yeah, Chicago's great, but not where he lives.
Okay.
I don't understand why him and his partner, they both make good income, why they don't buy a better place. But anyway, that's... actually, I do know why. His partner, who happens to be black, is concerned about the Chicago police. About, suffering... getting arrested for no good reason, getting harassed by the Chicago police. And Rejoice, who's also black, who's also been to Chicago. She just, doesn't buy into any of the stuff that the African Americans often talk about. Not all African Americans talk about it, but Rejoice is darker skinned than the average African American, and she doesn't see an ounce of racism among the United States, and she will go further and say she sees anti-racism in the sense. Well, what I mean by it is that they give her privilege. I mean, she got voted Sailor of the Month.
Yeah.
From the Navy. Like, if the Navy is so racist or the society is so racist, they're never going to award that to some black immigrant.
Right.
So, for her, everything that she's seen is that whites are bending over backwards to kiss her ass and to make her feel comfortable and at home.
Yeah.
And she doesn't understand the hullabaloo that African Americans make.
The historical.
Right. And so, and of course, African Americans will say, the problem is you're from Africa and you don't get our history. And she might say, yeah, I don't get your history, but I'm just looking at how it is to be black today.
Yeah.
I'm black. I can't change that. I walk around every day. And if there's rampant racism, I don't think a racist is going to say, oh, she's an African black, so we're going to be nice to her. And, oh, these are African Americans, so let's be cocksuckers to these people. No. I mean, if you're a racist, you don't care where that black skin comes from.
Right.
You're going to treat them all badly.
Yeah.
And she doesn't have any of this stuff. I've asked her many times, like, isn't there something that where you felt like, and she's met people that are not nice, but she doesn't jump to the conclusion that means that they're racist.
Right.
There's a lot of cocksuckers out there. A lot of people are assholes to you and me, right? And we're white men.
Right.
Sometimes I wonder, and this is again just speculation, that sometimes African Americans who get mistreated, they might be quick to sometimes jump to the conclusion that it's because of some racist reason where it may not be. And I feel for them because it's not obvious. Like when I'm traveling in Russia and somebody treats me badly, I don't know, is it because I'm an American or because they're just having a bad day?
Right.
And when I go travel to Africa and somebody treats me poorly in Africa, I don't know if it's because it's a racist Arab or a racist black person who doesn't like white people, or just, again, maybe I was having a bad day or whatever.
Exactly.
And so, but I don't jump to the conclusion, and you don't probably jump to the conclusion that people are racist against you, white man, or a sexist or whatever, that kind of stuff. It's so much in the African American culture that they have been historically so oppressed.
Exactly.
And it's a reality in their history that they're very vigilant and sensitive to any kind of mistreatment. So that's the disconnect, I think. And that's why we're having so many problems, I think.
Yeah.
And that ends this episode of the WanderLearn podcast, where we explore travel, technology, and transformation. If you'd like to see the show notes with links to what we've talked about, go to wanderlearn.com and click on this episode. If you'd like to connect with me, just remember Tapon. That's my first initial and my last name. Tapon is always my social media username. My website is ftapon.com. Do you want to leave me an anonymous voicemail where you can make a comment or ask a question? Then go to speakpipe.com/ftapon. Furthermore, if you'd like to get rewarded for supporting my projects, then go to patreon.com/ftapon. That's where you can pick up some remarkable rewards for as little as $2 a month. Now, 5 quick favors. Number 1, subscribe to the WanderLearn podcast. 2, download it. 3, share it. 4, review it. And 5, sign up for my newsletter at wanderlearn.com. Our theme music was composed by Eric Stratman. This is Francis Tapon, encouraging you to wander and learn.